Hi everybody, a really nice video has just dropped from the DayZ team, DayZ 2022 year in review, and I'll put a link to it in the description below this video. And a really cool fun way, it kind of shows you some of the many changes that we've had for DayZ over the last year. And underneath in the description, where I can find that, here we go, it kind of lists everything, and it really is fantastic. But there's a couple of facts and figures in this video at the end that really shine a light on how important the console platforms are to DayZ, and more importantly to Bohemia Interactive in the terms of sheer number of players, and how in particular I think the Xbox platform, the Xbox streaming platform, is going to be so important over the years to come. And it really explains why things like Arma Reforger are such a high priority to Bohemia Interactive, and having that on Xbox and having that on console, because it is coming to PlayStation as well, and how DayZ on console is probably more important to DayZ devs than DayZ on PC right now. Okay, so let's have a look. What are these facts and figures? So in the video they say there's 3.9 million new players came to DayZ in 2022. I remember, especially on console, that doesn't mean 3.9 million extra copies of DayZ have been sold, because you can have multiple accounts playing the same copy of DayZ, but it's still an awful lot more. What's really interesting is this figure here. So the top peak of concurrent players was 391,000. Now, it doesn't specify whether this is in 2022 or that was the peak in 2022, or this is the peak since DayZ was released. But what we do know is that in 2022 PC DayZ had its highest number of peak concurrent players. So this is the number of players who are all playing DayZ at the same time at a particular time of day, and this is 391,000. So we can kind of infer from this that at some point during 2022 391,000 people were playing DayZ on PC and console, so PC, PlayStation and Xbox. Now what we do know as well is the peak number of players on Steam, so on PC, and the all-time peak was 58,240, which happened this year. For example, at the moment, as of the 20th of December, the peak is 40,974, with 30,000 people playing it right now. But that's the figure we're interested in, 58,240, which you'll see is significantly smaller than that number there. So if we do a little bit of maths from that, and a little bit of estimating as well, we can say, okay, so the top concurrent number of players on PC is 58,000. The top current players from the video is 391,000. So that means that on console, the peak concurrent player numbers was 333,000 players. Significantly more than there are on PC. And so if you think, okay, so what can we draw from that in terms of what probably the number of concurrent players there are right now, on console? Well, we know that right now on Steam, on PC, the peak number of concurrent players is 40,974. If we go back to here, so it's 40,974, which is 70% of what the peak was, of 58,000. So let's make an assumption that the peak concurrent now of console players is 70% of what it was, so 333,000, means that right now there are approximately a peak of 273,000 people playing DayZ on console, which is 6 times the number of people playing on PC, which I think you'd probably agree means that if you were a developer looking at player numbers and growth and where you would want to really put future titles on, console has got to be up there. And when I was mentioning about DayZ on console as well, you can't underestimate this, which is Xbox Game Pass. So if you own an Xbox, chances are you've got Game Pass as well, and DayZ console DayZ is included with Game Pass, which means that you don't have to pay for it. But what this also means is that it's included in Game Pass Ultimate, and with Game Pass Ultimate you can stream DayZ from Microsoft Central Servers to your local computer or your local Xbox. So for example, if you have an old OG Xbox One, you don't have to play DayZ, you don't have to install it and play it like that. You can stream it through Game Pass Ultimate, and the performance is way better. And what Microsoft are doing is they're putting Xbox Game Pass Ultimate into as many other things as they can. So they're trying to put it in, and are putting it into things like smart TVs. So the idea is that you have to turn your TV on, and it'll have Xbox game streaming already built into it. So you then subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and you can play DayZ on your TV without having to have another console or another PC or anything like that. And then we're starting to talk about absolutely massive growth. And this is why we've seen such a push for Arma Reforger. Okay, you can argue whether it's been a success or not. There's been lots of mistakes made with Arma Reforger on Xbox. But why did they do it? Why did they bring Reforger to Xbox, and they're going to be bringing it to PlayStation 2? And the reason is that sheer number of players that will be available through the console population, but also through the streaming population as well. And let's remember, when you have a console version of a game like DayZ, and to a certain extent Arma Reforger, and probably Arma 4 when it comes out, the console version tends to have a different control scheme, or there will be different control schemes available to both, so that you can play it using a controller sitting on your couch, playing it on your television. So the next time you're thinking about DayZ in terms of PC and console, and you're thinking, well, which is the most important to Bohemia Interactive, just bear in mind those figures. That right now there could be a concurrent player number for console of 273,000 players compared to 40,974 on PC. And think about how that would influence you, and really think about the direction that the development of DayZ will be going in, and think about what probably will be happening behind the scenes, the things that they can't talk about in terms of things like extra maps, extra DLC. And we know that the DayZ devs and the DayZ team have said certain things, and they said, look, certain things aren't happening, we're working on this, we're working on that. But if you were at the top of Bohemia Interactive and looking at the amazing success that DayZ has been on console for PlayStation and Xbox, you're looking at that going, look, we're going to be leaving far too much money on the table if we ignore this. This is something we have to do. This is something we have to get involved in. This is something we have to get behind. So there we go. DayZ on console is way more important now than DayZ on PC. What do you think? I'm sort of kicking the hornet's nest a little bit, playing a little bit of the devil's advocate. But put your questions and comments down below. What do you think? Am I wrong with these figures? Are the figures wrong in themselves? But whatever you do, if you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.